What's up everyone, Patrick here, welcome back. Moving on to the next question. We've got to solve each of these equations here with the quadratic formula. So notice that they're all quadratic equations here. And we're going to put them through that formula. So the formula, if you remember, it's basically negative b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So if something doesn't factor smoothly, you could always take a quadratic equation and put it through this, and it'll give you the answer. And actually notice that none of these are going to factor smoothly. This one can actually, you could take out an x. I'm going to show you how to do this with the quadratic formula as well. So starting with this one, all we do is we basically plug in the corresponding parameters. So notice the b value is -3, so negative 3 would give us positive 3. And then we'd have -3 to the power 2 minus 4 times 1, right? The a value, there's like a 1 over here. And then we'll have -5. And this is going to be all over 2 times that a value of 1. So this would be 3 plus or minus. Here we would end up having 9 plus 20 all over 2. So this would be 3 plus or minus root 29 over 2. Those would be the final results. And root 29, it doesn't simplify any further, right? You can't divide this by 4 or 9 or 16 or a nice rootable number where you can simplify that radical. So this is the final answer for number 1. Those are the two solutions. And notice that there are two solutions, right? 3 plus root 29 over 2, and then 3 minus root 29 all over 2. So that's the answer for number 1. Number 2, exact same thing, just plug in the parameters. So we would have x equaling -4, so that'd be positive 4. Then we'd have -4 to the power 2 minus 4 times 2 times -3 all over 2 times 2 like that. So it'd be 4 plus or minus. This would end up being what? 16 plus 24, right? -8 times -3 is positive 24 plus 16. That would give us 40 all over 4. And then this here simplifies. The root 40, we can actually simplify to that to root 4 times root 10. So it'd be 2 root 10. So this here would be 4 plus or minus 2 root 10 all over 2. And then notice we could factor out a 2 at the top. Or sorry, there should be a 4 at the bottom. I just caught that, my bad. Right, 4, 4. And then this, like that. So basically the final answer would end up being 2 plus or minus root 10 over 2. That would be the simplified form. Those would be the two answers to this quadratic equation. Number 3, exact same thing. We would plug in the corresponding parameters. So we would have -1, which is 1, plus or minus, we'd have -1 to the power 2 minus 4 times the a value, which is 1, times the c value, which is 4, all over 2 times 1. Notice this isn't going to work out because we would have positive 1 here. -1 to the power 2 is positive 1, minus 16, which would give us -15. And you can't square root a negative number. What this means is that basically there is no solution to this one. There's no x value that you could plug in here that would make the left side equal the right side, or the left side equal to 0. And then finally, number 4, we got 3x squared minus 7x equals 0. Now, as I mentioned, one way you could do this actually factors into that. And so notice that x equals 0, or x can be 7 over 3. Those are actually the two solutions. But let's try to get these two solutions with the quadratic formula as well. Now, notice that here, what's the a value? The a value is 3. The b value is -7. What's the c value, though? The c value, there's like an imaginary 0 right there. right? So what's going to happen if we plug these parameters here, we would end up with positive 7 plus or minus negative 7 to the power 2 minus 4 times 3 times 0 all over 2 times 3, like that. So this would end up being 7 plus or minus. Notice this whole part would go to 0. Negative 7 to the power 2 is 49. Square root of 49 is 7 all over 6. So we would end up either having 7 plus 7, which is 14 over 6. That would be one of the solutions. Or 7 minus 7, which is 0 over 6. So this would be 0. Or we would have 7 over 3, which is exactly what we got over here. Right? These two solutions we got with factoring. So another way to get them is with the quadratic formula.